How have you approached expansion and growth at Clutch?
One of our investors is FJ Labs, who's like pretty notoriously heavy into marketplaces. And Fabrice, like early on, was like, nail it before you scale it, right? And I think that's like a very good piece of advice. I didn't take it. And we kind of scaled like crazy before our unit economics really made any sense. And that was because we had a customer, like sorry, a competitor that was really nipping at our heels. And I think, my lesson from Uber was that if you weren't in the market first or early, really hard to compete. And there were some markets where, the incumbent was still highly dominant, even, 3, 4 years after, and after a bunch of investment. And so we kind of had this like race, like this land grab, which we were able to do because capital back then was relatively cheap. And so it was a lot of geographic expansion. Since then, we've actually pulled back and really spent more time on our core markets. I'm a big believer that most marketplaces will be eventually winner take all, if not winner take most, if not winner take all. It's certainly, I would have not thought that in the ride sharing business, but like Lyft is, I think gradually declining. I think food delivery is kind of TBD. I think DoorDash has done a phenomenal job in the US, and so they've got pretty big lead. So who knows where all these things end up? But I think, it is certainly a winner take most business, ours at least. And so we were pretty frantic and kind of a little bit disorganized around market expansion. But today we've we've really honed in on making sure that we can stick to our core markets, penetrate those, and then start moving to different markets. But we also now have the luxury of having much less competition. And I think that's like nuanced in everyone's unique businesses. And I don't know what kind of businesses everyone runs, but depending on the market you're in, it somewhat dictates how fast you need to go. And for some, I think it's probably faster than you'd like, but that's also the reality of the competitive environment.